we get to our main event segment. I'm going to give Ashton the reins for this one to start with.
Well, our main event segment opens with probably the worst theme music in the WWE right now, that being Stephanie McMahon's theme. It's just awful, and it needs to go away, and I think that she needs to start coming out to No Chance in Hell, which would be nice because I haven't heard that theme in way too long, and I don't think Vince is ever going to be on TV again, and if he is, it would make perfect sense for him to come out with Stephanie. But regardless of all that, she comes out, and she talks about how she represents WWE, but now all of a sudden nobody can look her in the eye without thinking she's a common criminal. This experience has hurt her professionally and personally. She says that her daughters can't understand why their mother was taken to jail. Her kids get teased at camp. Their friends' parents won't let them come over, and they're scarred for life. And then Brie Bella shows up out of the crowd, walk into the ring. They do hit her music eventually, but it's a little bit too late at that point. It's just kind of a, hey, she's here. I don't have the hiccups, by the way. Don't even go there. Brie says that she's heard enough. She tells Stephanie to get to the point or just keep standing there like a whiny rich bitch. Stephanie wants her to drop the charges. Brie says that she deserves the charges, and Stephanie says that this shouldn't happen to me. I don't think that I should go anywhere. I don't think anyone deserves this. And then Brie says, as far as I'm concerned, you deserve to go to hell. And Stephanie says she may have taken advantage of Nikki Bella in some regards, but that will not happen again. And Brie says, you're just being insulting. And Stephanie offers to give Nikki a raise, and Brie accepts that, as long as Stephanie agrees to all of her other demands. Brie wants her job back. Fans chant, yes, 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 yes. And Stephanie tells her to be reasonable, and she says, one Bella is enough for the WWE. And Brie tells her, fine, then I'll see you in court. That was like her catchphrase for this segment. Stephanie says, stop, no, I don't want to go to court. She asks, if I agree to rehire you, will you drop all the charges? And Brie was just like, yep, that's fine, yep. Steph says, all right, it's done. And then she says, but there's one more thing, because apparently she learned her negotiating skills from her husband. She also wants a match at SummerSlam. And Stephanie says, okay, yeah, sure, you can have a match at SummerSlam, yeah. Do you want a Divas Championship match? Or no, wait, even better, you're totally a star on that Total Divas show. How about the Total Divas Spectacular? I'll make it happen. I'll do all the endorsements and everything for it. And Brie was just like, no, I don't want that. I want a match at SummerSlam against you! And the fans pop.
Yeah, this segment was received incredibly well from the crowd, and I do have to commend everybody, including the audience, for that happening. If I had one gripe, and it's a nitpick, it was the theme music mishap that you alluded to earlier, Ashton. Personally, I wouldn't have had the music play at all, because I feel like it gives it a greater sense of authenticity if Brie's just coming through the crowd, no formal introduction, just going in there taking care of her business. But really, as far as what was actually said to each other, I thought this was great. You pretty much covered all the ground. Brie pretty much strong-arming Stephanie to get in the ring with her. I was reading while you were explaining the segment to everybody, Brie got a huge pop apparently after Raw went off the air and she was exiting the ring. And, Brian pretty much tweeted that, Brie's going to beat Stephanie at SummerSlam just like he beat Triple H at WrestleMania. So I think this angle's got a lot of momentum behind it. I love that after the fact, Stephanie says, but Brie, since we're going to do this match, you should know. And then she seems to get all teary-eyed and choked up, but then she slaps Brie in the face and says that you're going to be my bitch.
Prism really did change her.
It did, man. It made her a hard ass. I was amazed she didn't try and pull out a shank from under that dress or something. But yeah, she slaps her, and then she starts mocking the chance of the boo of the crowd. But then Stephanie makes the unforgivable mistake of turning her back to Brie because a slap is such a devastating finisher. Brie comes back in. She pounces on Stephanie. And, she starts pummeling her. They start having a cat fight. Stephanie actually gets some impressive-looking blows in there. I'm thinking, wow, they're really putting their backs into this. Then you see Jamie Noble, Finlay, and who else come out? Because it was 3 agents, wasn't it? It was Noble, Finlay, and somebody else. And they're pulling them apart. Joey Mercury, there you go. And they're pulling them apart. Stephanie saying, you're mine. You're my bitch. And, we're pretty much going to get this match at SummerSlam. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think both of these women have really taken this seriously. I think they've both done tremendous work. I will say, I don't know if you meant it as a serious criticism when you said it last, or if you just meant it as a joke, but if you did mean it as a joke, I am taking it a bit more seriously, that I think Brie needs to expand her criticisms of Stephanie a little
Oh,
bit.
absolutely, dude. She just calls her bitch. That's her only line.
And I feel like there's so much more to work with. Like, and I'm not even joking about this because I want this program to succeed. If I was Brie Bella, I would pull somebody like Chris Jericho aside
Yeah.
and ask him, like, how do I do this? How
You
do
know
I
what,
cut?
dude? They should have a segment with Jericho and Bella feeding off of each other just like Jericho and The Rock did 10, 15 years ago.
There you go. Yeah, do that. Hell, do something, because I feel like Brie has it in her. I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be saying it, but she's got to expand the criticisms and the content.
Expand your vocabulary, sweetheart.
Expand the vernacular, Moggle. But,
Get a vernacular job, Michael.
But, like, that's really my biggest criticism of this whole thing. Steph just has to be herself. She is so good at being smarmy and
she needs to
unlikable.
start entering to her father's theme music.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the theme music either. In fact, if she would revert back to her old theme of, I'm all grown up now, listen and learn, and whatever the name of that theme was called, I'd be okay with that. I like that theme. This theme doesn't do it for me. But those are two nitpicks.
Would you object to her using her dad's theme?
I would not. No, I would not. Absolutely not. But I think the former criticism has the potential to become bigger and more prominent, while the latter is merely an aesthetic thing. It would be preferable for her character and everything else to come out to that theme music. If it's not going to change, I guess we'll just deal with it, Batista style. So, I'm looking forward to this match. I don't know how much time it's going to get. I don't care, because matches like this I just think work well enough, knowing that it's a really sympathetic babyface going against a very unlikable heel, and yet Nikki Bella is kind of the wild card right now, so her involvement's also going to be interesting with the remaining time we have to build towards this match.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Do you have anything else you want to say about this segment?
Dude, that's it. That was Raw. Let's get into high spots and low shots.
Agreed. So, with that said, my low shot, let me think here. You know what? I'm going to say, my low shot is Stephanie McMahon.
Really? She kind of got her comeuppance there at the end.
I mean, she did, but let's put this in perspective here. First,
she has to fight Brie.
I mean, she does have to fight Brie, but I mean, she got practically dressed down verbally by Chris Jericho in humiliating fashion.
Right.
He probably made a successful plug for the network at her expense, because now everybody's going to watch her getting arrested over and over and over again. But even
30 days from now, because there's a delay.
Yeah, 30 days from now, which hopefully, I mean, by then, let's be realistic, they probably won't even remember that promo, but I'm going to have a little bit more hope. Exactly. But then the big thing here is Brie strong-armed her. She got everything she wanted, and even if Stephanie is cunning and ruthless, and to be honest, I do think she has an edge because of things that I will save for our SummerSlam preview and predictions. In a kayfabe perspective, Stephanie admitted the biggest thing herself. She hasn't competed in a ring for 10 years. So, yeah, she's pretty much a caged animal right now.
Caged animal, eh?
Yeah, and you know what caged animals do when they get desperate. So, we'll see what happens. Who's your low shot?
I've been kind of tossing around a couple names for my low shot tonight, and I think I'm just going to say my low shot is Bo Dallas, because he's no longer unbofeated.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me. It was unbelievable. At least he put the boots to truth after the matchup, which I liked. I think it shows that Bo is going to start taking care of business more seriously in the ring and saving all the inspirational and celebratory antics for completely post-match purposes, in which case Bo Dallas, I think, is going to be on quite an upward trajectory going forward. Still curious if he'll be added to the Intercontinental Championship mix at SummerSlam. That, I think, is still a vague question mark rather than a period on the sentence yes or no. So we'll see. My high spot, you know what? You often sometimes pick high spots because you think I'll never get the opportunity to do it again in a certain sense. Well, that's kind of what my high spot is tonight, because this is going to be in the most complimentary way that I could ever give this person the high spot. My high spot's John Cena.
Yeah!
You know what? I criticize a lot of people, but I try and be a big enough person when I come on here to really give them their due when they deserve it, and Cena earned it tonight. Nobody can tell me any differently. He had an excellent match with Cesaro, and I fully understand that it takes two, but I thoroughly believe Cena carried his weight in that bout. And before that match, cut to, both his original promo and his response to Heyman, two of his best promos that I've heard him cut in quite some time.
Definitely.
I may even want to go, for me personally, as far as years, as far as Cena mic work is concerned. This was great stuff. I wish we got this John Cena every week because, again, I may still get annoyed that he's the man from time to time, but I could tolerate it a hell of a lot better than I do on a consistent basis. So, yeah, John, in all earnesty, you are my high spot. You owned it tonight, so good job.
Okay, so now my high spot is, I don't know, I almost want to say Roman Reigns because it's like he got the crap beaten out of him, but it's a good thing because it's giving him an actual real obstacle that he actually has to try and overcome. But on that same note, it's kind of hard to give somebody a high spot when they got beat down as bad as he did. So, you know what, dude? Man, I'm actually kind of struggling here. I'm not going to give it to R-Truth. I already gave Bo Dallas my low shot.
Right.
I'm not going to give it to Ziggler because it was a tag team match, and it's tough to reward somebody for winning a tag match. So you know what? Oh, man, but I don't know. Even though it does kind of go against what I just said about tag team matches, I'm going to give my high spot to Naomi. Because, yeah, she did win a tag team match, which, like I said, is kind of hard to give somebody a reward because they won a tag match when it's more like a team thing. But did Natalya do anything in that match? Like, she didn't really, I mean, she might have started in the ring, but she didn't really do. And what it really comes down to is Naomi has a character now, and she's in a hot feud. And the most important thing is she now has a submission finisher, so she's kind of joining the rest of the diva world, the modern diva world, as the professional wrestling submission artists of a modern age.
It's crazy that the divas have the legitimate claim to that title. In a positive way, for sure, because I freaking love it. But it's just crazy that they were the ones to gain dominion pretty much over submission wrestling right now as far as WWE is concerned. Absolutely not. Even Rosa Mendez's finisher, and we don't even see her on TV, is apparently a submission finisher called the Rosa's Thorn. Like, what the heck? But yeah, Naomi, I love that she debuted a new submission finisher. Who knows? She may even beat Cameron with it at SummerSlam. So we'll see what happens.
Well, she beat Cameron with it tonight.
Yeah, she did.
Cameron, and it was Cameron that tapped out. I don't want to make any bones about it. It wasn't Alicia Fox that did. It was Cameron. Cameron tapped out to Naomi.
Oh, that was so satisfying to watch. So you know what, Ashton? I like your pick. To be honest, I thought you were struggling because you were thinking about giving your high spot to Orton because he was the one who perpetrated the beatdown. But I really like your choice. I'm glad Naomi's getting some shine on TwitWow. So with that said, that only leaves one final segment, one of my personal favorites because it really gives us insight into how we're thinking about the current direction of things. Raw Request. And because I took the low shot, Ashton, what was your Raw request? I'll have you go first on this one.
Oh, God, you're making me go first. Well, here's the thing, dude. Last week, my Raw request was for them to kind of try and have something where it makes people question, oh, I don't think that was supposed to happen. Make it seem like it was real every week. And since then, I've kind of realized that was kind of a foolish Raw request because you can't do that kind of stuff every week or it'll stop being special. So to everybody who listened to Twitwell last week, I am just going to go ahead right now and retract for the first time ever last week's Raw request because after second thought, I disagree with it is what it comes down to. So it's kind of tough to come up with a Raw request this week because I was more thinking about last week's Raw request and how it was kind of a mistake. And I think that this week my Raw request is just going to be ride this momentum because Raw has been great 2 weeks in a row. And it hasn't been formulaic, which to me is a really important key, is that it hasn't been formulaic. They've been changing it up. They've been switching around who gets what spots. Our main event for the last 2 weeks has actually been promos. And, I'm just going to say ride the momentum and keep it up. That's all I can really say.
I can totally understand where you're coming from with that. I mean, kind of a history-making moment there because you retried it for the first time ever a Raw request. Can't say I blame you. Probably retract a lot of mine if I could remember a lot of the ones that I've made. As far as mine go, I do co-sign on to yours, but this Raw was so good. I'm trying to think. Like, it's normally our Raw requests are something that we believe the WWE can do better. So you know what my Raw request is going to be? Keep this tone for the Cena-Lesnar rivalry heading into SummerSlam. Because I love the tone Cena had, I love the tone Heyman had, and I don't know if Brock is scheduled to appear on more Raws going forward, and honestly I don't even know Cena's schedule either because he is doing other filming projects, but whenever any of these people are involved, keep the tone how it should be. Serious, legitimate, like this is a fight, because we're talking about the WWE World Heavyweight Championship here that always deserves to be treated with the utmost respect. I mean, I would like to think you consolidated the belts for that reason, because you want the one champion to be perceived as the guy who reigns supreme over WWE, is the face of WWE, which is a phrase the Authority likes to use. So keep the tone consistent, because I really felt engaged with this Lesnar-Cena program, and honestly, I really had fears, legitimate fears, that Cena was going to undo all the momentum, all the groundwork that Heyman laid the prior week, but he really built upon it tremendously tonight. So keep that tone. That is my Raw request. So, with that said, do you have anything else you want to say about this Raw?
Absolutely not, dude. Close it out.
All right, guys, with that said, this has been Raw. This has been TwitWow, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Discuss on Tweet Off. And we will see you again for our NXT review, where I don't think any matches have been announced thus far to my recollection, but you know it's going to be a great show, so be sure to join us.